Welcome to the TAE Aerospace Ipswich Jets After the 80, proudly brought to you with thanks to the Ipswich Jets Leagues Club, the heart of our community and a huge supporter of rugby league in Ipswich, and of course your Jets. Today we're back at the Leagues Club and inside our offices where all of the action happens off the field, and we're joined by the player's player, week in, week out, Oliver Pascoe. Ollie is one of the brightest young talents in our Jets roster, racking up over 50 Host Plus Cup games. Still only 25, he's already made a huge impact playing every game this year so far as our starting hooker, which equates to 9 tries in 10 appearances, and that makes him 4th best in the comp this year. With a work rate that turns heads and makes him the man of the week on so many occasions. Whether he's crashing through the line or putting in the hard yards off the ball, he's the kind of player every team needs, and the Jets have. So there's more than to Ollie than just game day though. We're going to go behind the scenes, have a chat with him, talk about his journey, his mindset, and what it really means to wear the green and white. So Oliver Pascoe, Jet number 694, welcome.
Thanks Richard, thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Mate, 42-12 at home, one of the biggest wins we've had for a long time at the reserve. How does it feel to do that on a home game with, you know, the reserve was packed yesterday? How did that feel to do it yesterday?
No, it felt really good, you know, like we had a mentality all week that we wanted to put on a good performance, and after our last game, our last TV game at home, we kind of like, that wasn't us, and we really wanted to show like what we could do, and we wanted to defend well and attack even better, and I feel like we did that.
Well, one of the things that I've heard a lot as talking to the guys week in, week out is about the game plan, and the fact that really putting that game plan into effect is the difference between winning and losing. Without going to the specifics of the game plan, but how important is it for you guys to follow that, and what is the major difference between you getting a win because you're all following it as opposed to not?
Well, I'd just say probably for the last month, Ty and Triggs have really nailed down on our game plans and what we've got to stick to, and it's shown. We've won the last 3 on the trot, and they've done the video on where their better areas are, and we've exploited that in a way. So we've taken the positives on our end and made it negatives for them. So if we stick to the game plan every week, I think we'll go a long way.
So let's review the game. First try, Jules was in at dummy half, then Adam Fitzgibbon popped up, and 1 of 2 tries for him on that day and came around and came in. Obviously as part of that spine, Jules has played majority of this season at 5'8", a couple of games at fullback. But for somebody like you to play with somebody like Jules who reads the game so well, how important is that to have somebody like his talent playing with you?
Yeah, I think it's so good to have. Jules is kind of that off the cuff kind of player, and then we've got Dion who gets us to our points, but I love playing with a player like Julian because he's got that, you know, the ad-lib mind sense, and that's how I can score some of my tries too, off his footy. And what he sees is not what every football player sees, and we're really lucky to have him at the Jets.
Now let's talk about you. You start your second try, a move off the scrum, 15 metres out, you work your way through the line, and then your third try, it's pretty much the same, but 5 metres out. Really interested, and this is again one of the rare opportunities to get this question to you. What does your footy brain do when you get the ball in that situation and you look up? What is it that you see that others don't?
I guess I just seen their middle shoot, and we were calling lay 50 on the first one, but I don't know, he just gave me his inside shoulder, so I guess I just said to myself, I'm going to back myself here, and I got through and just got over the fullback, which is good. And I guess I just look for what the opposition's doing and how their feet are, and which way they're looking, and you know, that's the beauty of getting to the ball first. You can see what before other boys see, so if I can take them on, I'll take them on.
And is that a skill that's learned, or is that a skill that you've always had through your footy career?
Bit of both. I definitely think it's learnt, and I've probably learnt a lot more this year. I'm getting a lot more confident in myself, and that comes down to Ty and Triggs that have really made me play my best footy again, and starting to show out in the field.
We'll move to try 4. Fitzy for his second try, the left-hand edge. right on half time. We're lucky that we've got a really good, spread of talent from the Titans. We've got Foz, we've got Alan Fitzgibbon, Josh Patson, to name a few. What have those Titans brought to the Jets across the competition in respect of what they've injected into the club this year?
Probably just professionalism, but not also. They've also bought into what our culture is, and they drive it from day dot. I know, like Adzi and De Groot, Jalen. He's only played a couple games. I think he only played one game for us this year, but he showed up to numerous of our games, and that just goes to show, he cares and he wants us to win. He wants the best for us, and I think that's what you need especially cup level. You need strong affiliates in a way. It helps. Yeah, it definitely helps. So.
And that kind of leads on to, I guess, my next question. I mean, you've come through a system where through Wynnum you had the Broncos, through Tigers you had Storm. Obviously now with us with the Titans. And we played an outfit in the Clydesdales that don't have an affiliate, and that's a position that we've had for 7 or 8 years before the Titans came along. So again, how important do you see it, or how vital is it to have an affiliate in the Host Plus Cup competition?
Yeah, look, it's definitely vital in a way. Like you can have, without the Titans boys, we have such a strong squad, but when you come up against the big teams like the Redcliffe, the East Tigers, and those teams like that are always stacked with that affiliate, you need a couple of boys that really buy in and help us along the way. And we've got lucky this year, and we've had the good help. So no, it's really good.
Now your third try was a 60-metre intercept. And I guess the question, this might be part luck, part good management, but how are you always in the right space at the right time? And I guess probably the follow on to that is that, again, a lot of people are watching the games, a lot of people are watching you, and maybe starting that rugby league journey. So how is it you're either doing a charge down or doing an intercept, running a lot of metres, a lot of the games? How do you put yourself in that right position all the time?
I'd say it'd just be my competitiveness. I've always kind of been a competitive person on and off the field, and if I can see something, and like he telegraphed that intercept pretty easy, but if I just want to work hard, and if you work hard, things will come off, and that's what I've always kind of played my footy on. So I guess that's why those things.
Let's talk about fitness. Quite often you're an 80-minute player for the majority of the games this year and through your career. So how do you get yourself into that level of condition? Doing that week in, week out. Like, what's your split of cardio to strength, or is it again something that just comes natural to you?
I've kind of always been naturally fit, but I've also worked hard because I haven't always been the biggest. So I've always tried to push myself whatever way I can, and my fitness has always been like a positive in my game. So I guess just stick to a good diet, train your ass off, and my fitness levels stay the same, so it's pretty good.
And off the back of that game yesterday, you now got, for the 5th time, Players Player. How does that feel to get that kind of reception from your peers? I know you're a pretty humble guy when you get those awards, because you're probably very aware of the people that also are surrounding you. Yeah. So, how does it feel to be recognised, to put all that effort in by your teammates?
Nah, it feels really good. Like that award does mean a lot, because it's not coming from the coaching staff or whatnot. It's coming from your playing group, and I think that's what I try to be: not only a good player, teammate, but a good mate. And it's good to see that. It feels good that the boys also have your back and can see that you're trying your ass off. And it feels really good.
Now, this time last year, mate, we were bottom of the ladder by round 11. This year, we're knocking on top 4. We're just outside the points difference. Where do you think this team is heading? I mean, trying to obviously just quell and make sure that we're, not getting too ahead of ourselves. Yeah. But where do you think this team is heading, the one that you're playing in week in, week out?
Well, our main goal is obviously finals footy, but like you said, we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but we just take every game week by week, and we want to have a strong game this weekend, and then we get a bye, and that could really set us up for the run home. So top 4 would be great, but we'll just take every game by one.
Is your tip for everybody to cancel their September plans? Is that what's your...
Keep it open.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, mate, that's great. Let's talk about you, the footballer, and give a bit of insight into who you are. So take us back. Where did your rugby league journey begin, and how or what happened to get you into the game initially?
So I guess it's always been in my family. My pop was played for New South Wales back in the day, and my dad played football as well, and for the Gunnedah Bulldogs, and that's where I'm originally from, in New South Wales. And about year 7, I moved to a boarding school in Tamworth, continued my footy career there, and then moved up to Port Macquarie, played for the Port Macquarie Sharks, and then had 1 year with Warhope Blues, and that was kind of the way I've got up here through Anthony Boyd. He used to play up here for these Tigers, and he knew Michael Lambert, and Michael Lambert helped me get up here and gave me a training trial with these Tigers, and I guess that was the crack I needed at the time, and really grateful that he gave it to me.
And through that time, was there a moment or a season or a pivotal time where you knew that rugby league was something you wanted to pursue at a more serious or a higher competitive level, as opposed to just a pastime?
Probably my first year is, I've always loved footy, and I've always wanted to be the best I could, and when I first moved up here, there wasn't much of me. I was 70 kilos ringing wet, and I moved up here as a middle forward, and I guess John Buchanan, the coach at the time, he just said you got to work hard, put on some weight, and you never know what could happen. And I guess once I made my debut, I really enjoyed it up here in Queensland, and wanted to push further every game I could get. So, yeah.
So we've covered, your I guess move to get to Brisbane and play some A grade. So from your Cup debut in 2021, talk us through your path to the Jets and through those couple of Cup systems to get to the club. How did you arrive at the Jets, and what was that journey like for you?
So after my debut season, I had my first shoulder reconstruction, and then I come back from that, played a fair few games back in the A grade system in Brisbane, and then the year after I had my following shoulder reco. I think that was after 2023 with Wynnum. We had a good season, made it to the finals. That's where I got to play a fair bit of 9, and things were really starting to look, on the right trajectory for me. And then I had my other shoulder reconstruction, and then kind of didn't make it back till I think round 5, 2024, and probably just wasn't the confident person that I always, tried to be that year, and didn't play my best footy and from time to time. And I think, I played a bit of A grade, and I remember running into Ty. I ran into Ty at Beenleigh. I was playing a game for Beenleigh, and he was coaching West Brisbane, and he pulled me over. We've never really liked each other though, because we've always played against each other, and he's always beat me. And he just said, like, mate, I don't know why you're here. Like, you should be playing Cup, rah rah. And funny enough, the week after, I went back into the Cup system, and that just kind of stuck with me because, we hated each other in the field, but he took his time, to come and see if I was all right, and, ask why I'm here or why I'm not pushing through. And when he first originally called me to come to the Jets, my first thing I said was, I'm not going to come out to I'm competitive, like I really want to win some games. And I remember him saying, like, no, I've got you, mate, like we're turning things around out here. And after that, a couple more phone calls, like I really wanted to be a Jet, and I'm so glad I am.
Yeah, that's a great answer, and I think you weren't privy to it because obviously you were elsewhere, but when we did play as player, I had a chat to Ty. One of the questions I asked him was, why, or did you know Ollie was going to be such a standout in the competition this year? And he said, mate, absolutely, that's why he chased you so hard. He saw so much in you, and saw so much in you as a footballer that he knew he had to get you here and build a side with you in it. So he has great respect for you. And you've touched on again, your shoulder reconstructions, and a few weeks back we talked to co-captain Brett Greinke about his injury, journey. So I think it's really important to cover. How do you, from a mental health perspective, from a setbacks, how do you go through those difficult times, knowing what ultimate dream is, knowing that you can't do it at that particular time? How do you stay focused? How do you stay motivated? How do you ensure that you stay, right mentally to get over that stuff?
Yeah, I think it's just having good people around you, and I guess that's a good part about being in the cup system. You don't get forgot about in a way. Like, you're always in and around the footy boys. They'll have a rehab coach, or that. I think if you didn't have that, then you could really go another way. Like, you need those people on your side and help you through it, because it is tough. And I know I was with Brett in 2021 when he was coming back from his Achilles, and that's probably motivation for a lot of players as well, because where he's got to now is just, amazing for the type of person he is to get back for that. And I'm sure it pushes other boys to get back from injury as well.
So when you come through the system, looking back, is there a coach or a mentor who's had a major impact on you, and somebody that has stuck with you in your head, from that time onwards?
I've had not just one, to be honest. I've had a fair few good coaches and a fair few good people in my life, but I probably put it down to my family, just my mum and my dad. My dad's always been my biggest supporter. Sometimes loves me a bit too much, but I just put it down to my family and making them proud, and that's what pushes me every game.
Game day. Obviously, all the boys have different routines. What does your pre-game day look like? Do you have any pre-game rituals or superstitions that you stick to?
I don't like to call them superstitions because I don't want to get in my own head too much, but I do like to have one feed a game day, so I'll cook myself some eggs, avo on sourdough, and then I'll just chill out for a bit. Depending on what time the game is, I might have some yogurt and berries, but other than that, I like to keep my stomach kind of empty, and then have myself an energy drink, and I should be ready to go by then.
And then after the game, other than getting your yellow cap and your tankard, what's your post-game wind down?
Post-game, all depends, like where we are. I'd love, always love to have a beer with the boys if we're away or whatnot, but other than that, I sometimes sneak off to KFC and get 3 zinger fillets. They seem to hit the spot, and then that's probably my post-dinner.
Well, you'll have to go for a bit of a walk in Mackay, mate, when we go at the weekend. KFC's a bit of a trip away from the hotel.
Yeah.
And importantly, what's on your headphones? What kind of music are you listening to, mate?
Nah, actually, I never listen to music before a game. I've done it. I remember doing it once, and I played the worst game I ever did. So, my whole life, I've only done it once. So yeah.
Wow. Okay, mate. We talked, and it's again a credit to you that you week in week out getting player. But if we had another one to give away, and you could give that one to somebody based on consistency and effort, who would you give it to?
There's so many. We've got so many good players, and our whole squad's such a good squad. Like, you look at yesterday's game, and we had really good footy players missing out, and like Nick Calio, Clarkey missed out. Like, it's just, we have such a good squad, and I couldn't narrow it down to one person, because all the boys, they all try their hardest, and they just want to win, and that's what we want to do at the Jets.
I think I might be stretching in friendship to get. I was going to frame to give me 17 tankards a game, but I'll see what I can do. Part of the Jets system, as I said, you've come through to very good, high-profile, high competitive, highly successful teams in Wynnum and East. But how different is it playing for the Jets to where you've played at before?
I'd just say it's like, it's a smaller, but you feel the love a lot more. I'm not saying it's bad at the other clubs, but just after the win, we come and sing the song, and you can see more than nearly 100 people in and around. I think that really builds such a strong culture, not just in the team, but in the town. And it's good to see that we can turn it around for Ipswich, because they deserve it.
And I guess that follows on to my next question. I mean, from the love that you feel, throughout the whole community, what does it mean to you now? You've played 10 games. What does it feel like to play in green and white? How How do you feel putting on the city's colours?
I feel like I belong here now. Every time I run out there, I feel part of the Jets, and I love my time here.
You know, you're only 25, got a lot of footy ahead of you. What are some of your, you know, mid to long term goals? I appreciate it's week in, week out, and you know, fitness and keeping your body, you know, going is an important part of that. But again, if you could write your own journey from here onwards, what does that look like for you?
Well, at the moment, my main goal is to keep winning footy for the Jets, and hopefully that leads to a comp or along those lines of playing footy in September. And obviously, the dream is to play NRL, but I just want to stay grounded and stay focused at the moment and not look into the future too much and just focus on the present, which is winning games for the Jets.
Now, mate, just to kind of finish off, for any young players, you know, watching this and watching your footy, and I want to follow a similar path to you, you know, it may not be perhaps the biggest body at the start, but to grow into that. What's the biggest piece of advice you could give them right now?
I guess it's just work hard. It's always kind of been work hard mentality, and things might come off, things might not come off, and even if they don't, then just go back to the drawing board and work hard again, because you'll get rewarded eventually, and yeah, you'll be deserving of it.
Okay. Oliver Pascoe, Jet number 694, thank you very much.
Thank you, mate.
Now, before we go, mate, we have to give you your customary yellow hat, number 5. With thanks to our friends at Articulate Framing. Here's your
Thank
5th
you,
tankard, so you've almost got enough for a party. Now, one thing we also want to do, mate, which we've never done before, is we've also bought you a hat rack.
Oh, thank you.
So, mate,
I actually do need that.
It's actually got five things on it, so
I might need another one.
yeah, we'll treat you, mate. But, Ollie, thanks.
Thank you so much, Richard.
Mate, that's a wrap up on the episode of the TAE Aerospace Ipswich Jets after the AT, proudly brought to you with thanks to the Ipswich Jets Leagues Club. A big thanks to Ollie, who came here on a non-training night just to be here, have a chat. And don't forget, our next game is on the 7th of June, which is away against the Mackay Cutters at 3:30, which you can only watch on Q Plus TV. So stay tuned, make sure you like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you next time as we bring you all things Ipswich Jets.
Please. Thanks, Richard.
Awesome, thank you, mate.